Home is where connections are made, memories are formed, and ideas are born. And no one knows home better than NFM. Thanks for tuning in to I Am Home, the podcast that goes deeper than trends and dives into what it means to make your house a home.
Hello, Black Friday Live. We are the I Am Home podcast, your home life hype squad. And our one and only goal today and always is to help you make your home life your best life. Today, we're talking to two of NFM's interior designers that are ready for your questions. So what do you want to know? Advice on color palettes, room layouts, decorating on a budget. We're doling out free advice here on the I Am Home podcast today. I'm Tyler Weiskup, joined by my co-host, Becca Sudbeck.
Hi, Tyler.
Hi, Becca. And Hilary Waltemath.
Hey.
And our two interior designers, Bethany Bratches.
Hello.
And Elena Kerwin.
Hi.
Hi. So behind the scenes, we're gathering some questions from the stream. If you have questions, submit them. We've got two interior designers here, again, ready to give out free advice. But before we do that, while we're gathering those questions and having them dropped into the stream, I'd love to play a quick game with you all. I'm calling it Trend It or End It. Okay, so this is, it might sound pretty self-explanatory, but we might be stirring up some controversy between some of the things that we're
favorite.
talking about. Yes.
Okay.
The game is simple. So I'll call out a trend, and I want to hear from you all if you think it's trending, so that's Trend It, or if the trend is over, that's End It. So first up, I'm going to start off with shiplap. What's our opinion? Is that trending or is it ending? Oh, ending. Bethany, you got hot take. Ending.
Yeah. Totally gone. Ending.
Ending. Really?
Unanimous.
Everyone says it's over.
Yeah.
Don't use it.
Farmhouse trend was big for a long time. And I think, just like everything, things come and go. And there's nothing wrong with having it in your home, but it's definitely trending out.
Went a little too hard for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. One of those things where, like, again, it's when it's saturated, it's too much. And I think we've got to that point. So we're, right off the bat, I'm sure people online are just like attacking us because we're attacking their style.
That's all right.
Yeah, Elena, you had more.
I was going to say it's still perfectly fine as long as you have a real farmhouse and you live in, in the middle of rural Nebraska. Yes, use it.
Yes, great point. Great point.
But if you're living in a
Omaha, Bellevue, Papillion.
Probably, yeah. Okay. All right. So right off the bat, controversy, I feel like. What about gallery walls? What do we feel like? Trended or ended?
In my case, I will say, and that I am going more for timeless design, and then doing like slash practicality. You know what I mean? I will say just do some molding. If you want something timeless and you want to have a gallery wall, but don't do just something in one wall. Put a plaster and make it look so cool because you're going to take it down in 2 years and it will cost a lot of money. Therefore, I will say for me, end it.
Okay. And this has ended. Bethany, what do you think?
I think there's a place for it, especially with family photos. I think it's a great way to use family photos, not front and center, in the living room, but maybe in a hallway or something like that. So I'm a fan for that reason. But in terms of a statement in a living room or dining room, or I would say no, maybe a large piece of art or a statement piece.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So we're a little half and half between our answers here. Hilary, what do you think?
Oh, I went hard for a gallery wall. Now I'm very much into the large statement piece, a statement piece of art, and it's much easier to pull off. A gallery wall is very cumbersome, sourcing all the pieces, getting it up, spacing it just right. And then it's a little tougher to change out too. So I think the large statement art is the way to go.
So I feel like we're leaning more ended. What do you think, Becca?
I think I agree, not like a main living room, but I'm kind of with Bethany. I personally have a gallery wall of family photos in my stairwell, like going up to my kids' rooms. And it's not, unless you're going upstairs, you're not seeing it. But I love walking up those stairs and seeing them. And again, I think it is hard to use family photos in your house. So I think it's perfect for that. But if you're using it as like your main focal point or art, I would say no, but I think it is a good way to use it.
Yeah. Stairwell, hallway, love it there.
Of course.
Okay. All right. I think we got a pretty firm answer on gallery walls. What about this one? Statement ceilings.
Yes.
Oh, right off the bat.
Definitely. Yes.
It's a trend.
Yeah. I think it's a trend. I mean, it's always been interesting to do the fifth wall, the ceiling, whether you wallpaper or paint or whatever. But I think now people are really thinking about that. And it's a really great way to accent the room. So I'd say yes.
Yeah.
I will say the same thing. I love, especially not all the rooms in your house. We are talking about the main rooms, great room, and if you have like a high ceilings and you need to turn it down, you know, there is some coverings and there is many ways to do it. But I will say combination of colors, definitely. And the special rooms in your house, I will say yes.
Yeah. Okay. So trending. Hilary, what do you think?
I agree. I am very into the like color wash. If you're painting a room, paint the ceiling in the same color too. It just creates like very calm, comforting space versus this like high contrast white ceiling, but also has to be done in moderation too.
Okay.
Right.
So when we're talking about moderation, like, is it just the tone that you're doing or just the amount of it throughout the house?
I would say both.
Yeah.
Both. Okay. Good to know. Becca, what do you think?
I'm with all of them.
Yeah.
I don't need to explain anymore. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think in the right application, not everywhere, but it can create such a big
Trending. Okay.
Yeah.
So we've got shiplap, end it. We've got gallery walls kind of in the middle. We've got statement ceilings trending. Okay. I'm going to do maybe one or two more here before we jump into some of these questions. Edison bulb light fixtures. Is it trending or should we end it?
I will say trending. You know, again, going back to timeless design, European influence and all of that, you will see that all the time there. And it's more warm and creates more like a family feeling and still a little bit of glam. I will say trending for me, always. All my light pictures have those and I love it.
Okay. Okay. I wasn't expecting that from you, but I like it. All right. What do you think?
I would say end it.
Yeah.
Because
Out of sight.
it's had its day.
Yeah.
And it's more of that farmhouse trend, in my opinion. But again, do what you love. You know, it's your home, and do what you love, and it's perfectly fine. But trend-wise, I'd say it's going up.
After my own heart. And honestly, like that's the if we have no other advice, if this is something that speaks to you for your home,
Of course.
do it. All these, like just don't listen to any of our advice as long as it makes sense to you. Hilary, what do you think?
I'm leaning towards end it. Another one that was very oversaturated. Like one lamp or fixture in your home, if it's the right style of home, to Elena's earlier point, if it fits the overall aesthetic of the home, makes some sense. But it's certainly one that's been oversaturated.
So
and
unscrewing those light bulbs now, people.
and expensive,
Yeah.
and expensive too.
Yes.
That is true.
Becca, what do you think?
Oh, I'm on the fence. I like the Edison bulbs because I feel like they're just softer, you know, like, and so for that personally, I'm like, oh, I don't know, but I could see where it's time to move on and create something new and better. But
yeah,
I don't know what that is. Maybe you guys do.
Is there a good replacement? Good question. Is there a good replacement if you're done with that?
I'm into the statement shade, lamp shade or lighting shade, like fluted or a color or different material like that. I'm more into than the Edison bulb.
You know, all the chandeliers I see coming from Europe, even we have eye holes and all of those. And then when in my trips, everything is Edison there. Therefore, it's coming back again, and it's going to be very strong.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, you don't see any shades at all in any chandelier, you know what I mean? And I will say, you know, based on my travels and what I see and it's coming, it's not ending.
We were just talking before we jumped on.
Yes.
So that's, if you want to take that into account, listeners, this is definitely something Elena's got some.
Same thing with gold. People say, oh, what about gold? And I say, you know, I told 10 years ago to my clients, don't get rid of gold. And it's still, gold is very strong and it's not going to go away.
Yeah. All right. All right. Strong opinion. Bethany, did you have a thought on
yes.
replacement?
So I think light bulbs are one of the hardest things in a home to figure out.
And overwhelming.
Yes. Because there's so many different
You don't
kinds.
think about it, but it makes a huge
It
difference.
makes a huge difference. So I would say to people out there, experiment with different bulbs.
Yeah.
And yes, they can be expensive, but you know, I think in the stores now you can see the daylight versus the incandescent light versus, and I would say try to be in between, not too warm, but not too cold. So there's a sweet spot in between there. And I think people say it's like 2,700 watts or something, lumens or whatever that is.
Okay.
But in general, just experiment. See what looks good in your home. And I like to mix it up. I know it's probably a faux pas, but in my own home, I mix up daylight in the right spot with warmer things, like in my living room. And so it's tricky to find the right bulb. But
Interesting. So
it's a hard thing
not
to do.
just all warm throughout the house.
Correct.
You're doing a little bit of
correct. Like in a kitchen, I'll do more of an LED bright light.
Functional,
Typical
practical.
Or bedrooms too.
Yes.
Chris Loves Julia actually has a really good blog post on light bulbs where they break down the wattage, the lumens, warmth, Kelvin. So really helpful guide. Anytime I need like a refresher, I refer to that. I send so many people to that too. Super helpful.
The white is just so glaring to me, even if it is in the kitchen. I personally, I find it like too intense, and I'm like, what am I in a hospital right now? What's happening?
Yes, my parents had that in their kitchen island, and I was like, I feel like I'm in a lab.
Yeah.
I can see everything.
Yeah, I don't use white at all in any part of my house. For the kitchen, I have a very good LED, and it's nice and bright, but it's warm. I think everything that I have through my house is warm, even outside. I remember once I changed one spotlight, and ended up being almost white. I was like, oh my God, that's horrible.
It starts to look blue.
And even for my Christmas light, I think, it's nice, even because my kitchen is very contemporary. The rest of my house is more timeless transition. I know it's very eclectic, but even in the kitchen, it's a tax light. It's very good. I remember I made the research. It's one of those very nice LEDs.
Yeah.
And then I can see everything, but it's not bright light. It's nice, warm, but
that's
bright.
awesome. That's awesome. Okay, I've got one more of these, and then we're going to start hopping into some of these questions. Hopefully you're sending them. Remember, we've got some interior designers here who are ready to answer whatever you've got. So last one here, punny pillows. Are they trending, or is this something that needs to be over?
I will say, never saw it in my life, and I never used it in my life.
Never come across our desk.
Never used it. Then I was so totally gone or trending. Not even in kids' rooms. I have special things. No, I would say absolutely not.
Very hot take. All right.
Yes.
Bethany, what do you think?
Absolutely not.
No trending. Oh man, I love punny pillows. Okay, Hilary.
You would love punny pillows, Tyler.
That checks out.
That's on brand. That is on brand.
Are you on the opposite side here?
Yeah, I haven't come across too many that I love. There's been a few that I think, like, we had one that was like pill shaped and it said chill pill. So like in the right setting, like that could be fun, but it's a very specific scenario. And another one that I think was a little too oversaturated.
Yeah, you think there are too many of these out there? Okay.
Yeah, I feel like they've scaled back a little bit, but we went hard for.
Okay, well now I'm ashamed of myself. All right, moving. Becca, what do you think?
Yeah.
No.
And then I don't know. I think like if you want to do something like that, maybe like a doormat.
Yeah.
I would be very hesitant to commit to that, like in a living room or whatever.
Yeah.
That's just me.
And if you're drawn to that, you're drawn to that in a lot of other ways. So then it's like wall art, and it's just you're like reading.
It's the live, laugh, love above the.
Yes.
I thought I was lampooning live, laugh, love.
No.
You're saying no. Okay. All right. Well, let's move on to some of these questions. I know we've had one of the first ones that we had before we hopped on here that was in the stream is, how do I choose the proper tile? Any thoughts on tile selection? Bethany, I think we were hoping that you might have some expert advice here for us.
Well, the first thing I would say is hire a professional designer.
Okay.
And here at NFM, we have design services. So I would say, let us come to your house and help you with that, because there's so many choices.
Yeah, and materials make a difference.
It's
Porcelain
so wide
versus
open.
ceramic, and the finish, whether it can go on walls or
Where it's
floors.
going.
It all makes a difference.
Yep, choosing grout and
And especially what else is going to be going with that. In the kitchen, what kind of color combinations,
Right.
For me, design is like it's an art, and it's a formula. We need to put everything together and make it work. You can start with tile. You fell in love with this tile. That happened to many of my clients. You travel, you go to Greece, you go to Spain, and you find this amazing tile that you love. You want to, and then of course the house, the kitchen, everything, whatever is going to start around the tile.
Yeah.
But everything needs to coordinate. You need to start with something. One point, you want to start with tile, which is more complicated. It's doing reverse work. You can do it, but then the rest needs to come together. there. Therefore, there is many ways to do that. But I would definitely recommend to, have a professional person to help you to be sure that everything is done properly and look amazing at the end, because as I told everybody, mistakes can be very expensive. You don't want to end up taking
especially
down
something
the
like
tile.
tile. Tile is not cheap.
It is.
Yeah.
Tile is a commitment.
Yeah. Do you recommend that being a good place to start with, like, color selections for your home, or is this like something that comes further along the lines?
For me, further down the line.
Okay.
But it is important to have the shell of your home looking right,
Mm-hmm.
the foundation, and then the decor and the furniture and all of that comes later, sort of. So yes and no. I mean, the tile, I wouldn't start with the tile necessarily, but if you want to, like she said, great.
It's an approach, because I have start projects with pillows. Someone brought this pillow, or someone meaning a pillow, the tile for the kitchen that she found in Tuscany. There is a starting point always, but needs to be, in my case, is a personal preference. Start with a couple, start with a person, start with a family, and that's what I do. Each person have a special design, that cater to themselves. I cannot be like, oh, this goes for everybody. Definitely no, because even though it's a formula, it's not a formula too, because it's the way that we approach to each client, that we tailor our design to go with each client lifestyle.
Right. So this wide open question, it gets complicated because you want it to make sure that it feels right for the person and for the home.
Yes.
So,
and it's not an isolated element.
Definitely.
Everything has to work together.
Definitely.
So.
Great question, but one where it needs a little bit more.
Yeah, come see us.
A little bit more conversation. Okay. I think I got another one here that's just around design approach and philosophy. Anne asks, what's the most unconventional design request that you've received, and how did you make it work?
I feel like we heard a couple already with this designing around a pillow.
Around putty pillows?
Yes. And then that goes to, many people in preference and things like that. One thing I remember that was doing this grandiose house, and then in Lincoln, and then my client, of course, he bought the best of the best. He wanted to do it once. He wanted to do it right, but he wanted to make a statement. And going back to statements, statements are important, but you need to know how to statements. And he wanted some red velvet, big curtains, And I was like, no.
Movie theater.
Yeah, I said, for the living room, not for the movie theater. And I said, no, definitely no. And I said, and the wife asked me, you're going to break his heart. I'd rather to break his heart, but I don't want to break his wallet. It's not going to work.
Yes.
We can do it in the basement, that the red velvet curtains are going to cost a fortune, are not going in the living room. We will put some gold curtains if we want to make the statement, but or even like a cream, gold, shimmery, whatever, but not red velvet. And then it was not even nice burgundy red. It was more like a bright red, like a Christmas red. The Christmas red, intense.
Yeah.
And in my case, it's like, I was honest, and this guy he had a lot of opinion, and then he's a big CEO business of a company, and then it's like he had his opinion, and I was like, no, sorry, I need to be 100% honest with you. It is not happening.
Yeah.
And it didn't happen.
You were able to talk him down off the ledge.
Yes, it was, because, and then I remember saying to her, but he said to me, but whatever, it doesn't work, we'll put it in the basement. And I say, we are running out of space in the basement, because before you came to me, you did it by yourself. Now it's different, and that's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, people say, oh yeah, we can put it in the basement, but there is a space in the basement for things,
Yeah.
For things we do not wish to be seen.
Yes.
Great example, Elena. Okay, Bethany, what about you? Any great examples come to mind?
The one thing that comes to mind is color. There are certain people who want lots of color, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But you have to be so careful with color. So, I've had a client who wants color in every single room.
Like a different color?
Yes. And that starts to look like a circus.
Yeah.
So you have to be really, really careful about that. But there are some guardrails you need to put in place.
Yeah. If someone comes to you with that kind of request, what do you typically do to help them either meet it or to shepherd them along a different direction?
I would say keep within the same color family.
Okay.
Same, maybe 2 colors in a palette, maybe a third, but just don't overdo it. And color, when you're doing color, it can become very saturated
Mhm.
quickly.
Like a little
So-
goes a long way.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I would say pops of color maybe would be better. Or, you know, if you want to paint the walls, like just do it way washed down, because when you put it on the wall,
Mhm.
it becomes way more intense.
Mhm.
So just, you know, be mindful.
Definitely. Good advice.
Oh, good
Okay,
question.
working with an NFM designer. This came from our producer, Anne.
It's very simple. You know, the first thing that you need, there is many ways. You can contact online now. You can set up an appointment online. The other option is just call directly to the front desk on the design gallery. And then if you want to be more adventurous, you can come here with your floor plan and say, I'm ready. I want to find a designer. Many of us can help you. We encourage people to make an appointment, and there is many different levels of services, because we can, believe it or not, we can do almost everything. We start helping people with just furniture. We help people with remodeling houses. We help people building houses. And then the other good thing about Nebraska Furniture Mart, I'm proud of that, and I love doing that. We have different level of service, but we have different level of budgets. I mean, we can cater all the, people starting their first home, going to college. And then we ended up with people like, we are empty nesters. We just want to buy our forever furniture that we always wanted to have. And this is it. And then, it's amazing. Yeah, we can do it all.
Yeah.
Thanks,
It
Elena.
sounds intimidating, but it's so simple.
It is
right?
really, and it's so nice to have the professional, just expert help you. And it helps take something that's so overwhelming and make it into such a simple process, I feel like.
I think the thing too to keep in mind is you don't have to do everything. I think a lot of people think that like if I'm hiring an interior designer, I have to do like the whole house and I have to have the flaw. But like you can start a little bit at a time, right?
One room.
Yeah.
We'll do
room.
whatever you want.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll start small. We'll
So
do the whole project.
From a budget perspective, that's something that most people can do in a manageable way.
And the good thing about this too is I told to everybody, we don't need to do, especially with the people that start working for the first time, we don't need to do everything at once. We are going to have A, B, C, D. We have a plan and we will know where to put the money. And that way we are not going to be wasting money. You know what I mean? And then because again, my philosophy of design is timeless. I buy, all my clients believe in that. We buy the best furniture that, we have many different levels, but my time is like 10 years, 5 years. How many years do you want to have this furniture? I start with that conversation, and then we can change accessories and do a refresh every 5 years. But I don't think that changing furniture every 2 or 3 years and 10 years, you are spending so much money.
Yeah.
And then, but we can guide you and then basically find the best solution for your personal lifestyle.
Love that. Bethany, any thoughts on working with an interior designer from your perspective?
One thing I want to say is I totally agree with the timeless design. That's how, I love that too. But there are people out there who want to change up things every 3 years. So, hey, come on back.
If you've got the means.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll do that too.
Yeah.
And there's a place for that too. So
And what if you're starting out and you're like, I'm not exactly sure what my design philosophy is, and maybe I want to start with some more affordable furniture, but still have it very stylized. Is that something that like you may advise somebody who's able to, if they're not able to pull the trigger on a full home design at their level, is something that they could potentially do?
for sure, we'll work with anybody, any budget, any style.
And that's what the beauty about Nebraska Furniture Mart. We have the look for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, we can go any place. As I mentioned, I have worked with many colleges and even high school. And, and it's nice to be able to help everybody, and walk
Design
with
is for
them.
everybody, right?
Yeah, design is for everybody.
Yeah. Okay. I'd love to end. We're going to go back to our game real quick because we're getting close to the end of our time. I'd love to end. Really hot take here. I'm going to try to find one of my favorite questions on this. Trend it or end it. Okay. I'm going to go with framed puzzles as art. Is that trending or is that something that should be ended? Framed puzzles as art. What do you think, Becca?
I was not aware that was ever a trend. I'm definitely going to say if it is ended, maybe during COVID when everyone finished all their puzzles.
But I thought Grandma Cora was like totally in. This is my argument for it.
I'm still saying.
I think it's trending. Okay, Hilary.
Very bold that you considered that a trend. That's very niche, very novelty. sure there is like one or two scenarios where maybe that makes sense, but I wouldn't commit to that one.
All right. Agree to disagree. Let's go, Bethany. What do you think?
I'm a fan.
Yeah.
Put it in a game room
Thank
or a
you.
child's room. It'd be great.
Thank you so much. We got one. All right. Elena.
I don't know, because honestly, in all the houses that I have done that I recall, I never have had that approach. I don't know how I would react if somebody show up and say, I want to put this.
To have a puzzle.
Yeah, a puzzle, and I want to put it in the middle of the living room. But honestly, I don't know. If that's meaning to that person, it's extremely valuable and means so much to them.
It could work.
Definitely will find a special place for that.
See, I need you two more, because these two, they're just always shutting me down. I don't understand.
Definitely, I don't think there never was a trend, because I have never approached with that question. I mean, maybe one person that thinks that is cool thinks that is a trend. The trend means that everybody wants to do it.
Okay. Well, thank you all. I appreciate this. This has been super fun. If you want to work with Bethany or Elena, or just want to know about NFM's home services, check out our website. You can find, there's a link on the top of the page there. Home projects, from design to products, installation, we do it all. And if you didn't get your question answered today, visit our podcast website, nfm.com/podcast. And then make sure to like, rate, subscribe to I'm Home wherever you listen to podcasts. We'll be back again soon with another episode. Till then, remember, home is what you make it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today for I Am Home with Tyler Weisskopf, Hilary Woltemath, and Becca Sudbeck. No one knows home quite like NFM. So if you'd like more information on home design at NFM, please check out nfm.com and leave us a review on the podcast platform of your choice.